Why smart men over 70? Stop taking these medications. You've taken your pills like the doctor said, every morning, every night. But what if I told you that some of those pills, the ones you trust most, could be quietly stealing your memory, your strength, even your independence? That's not a theory. It's what nearly happened to me. And it's what's quietly happening to millions of Americans over 70 without them even realizing it. Not because we did anything wrong, but because we stopped asking the right questions. We assume that if something is prescribed, it must be safe. That if we've been on it for years, it must still be working. But our bodies change. What helped at 55 might harm at 75. And the most dangerous part, these side effects don't scream, they whisper. They show up as subtle fatigue, a foggy mind, an aching leg that just won't lift like it used to. And we blame age, not the bottle on our nightstand. But what if age isn't the problem? What if the real danger is assuming that nothing needs to change? That's what this video is about. I'm going to walk you through 5 common medications that smart, cautious men over 70 are beginning to question and in many cases leave behind, not out of rebellion, but out of wisdom. Before we dive in, if you value honest, thoughtful conversations about aging, well, hit the subscribe button. It helps this channel grow and brings these vital stories to more people like you. Now let me ask you something. Which one feels more dangerous to you? A. Stopping a medication you've taken for years. B. Never questioning if that medication is still right for you. Leave your answer in the comments, just A or B. I read every one. Because after this, we're going to explore what those pills are and why many older men are quietly walking away. When I started looking into my medications, one of the first things I questioned was the acid reducer I'd been taking for years. You know the one, maybe it's omeprazole, maybe lansoprazole. It's supposed to help with heartburn reflux. Those late-night burning sensations we often blame on age or a heavy meal. And for a while, it does help. But what most people over 70 don't realize is that these drugs, proton pump inhibitors or PPIs, can become dangerous when used long-term. They don't just lower stomach acid. They block it so effectively that your body can no longer absorb critical nutrients like vitamin B12, magnesium, and calcium. Nutrients your brain muscles and bones depend on. I didn't notice the change all at once. Most people don't. That's what makes it so dangerous. It starts with a little more fatigue than usual. Maybe a few more stumbles when getting out of bed. A nagging fogginess in your thinking. You assume it's age, but in truth, your body might be starving not for calories, but for the basic building blocks of health that acid-blocking meds are quietly stealing from you. According to Harvard Health and Mayo Clinic, using PPIs daily for more than a year significantly raises your risk of bone fractures, muscle loss, and even memory decline. Yet many older adults stay on them for 5, 10, even 20 years without reevaluation, simply because the refill keeps coming. The solution isn't to quit cold turkey. That can cause rebound acid worse than before. But you can begin by asking your doctor if you still need the same dose. Maybe you only need it for a short period, or just when symptoms flare up. Some people benefit from switching to less aggressive medications. Others add natural supports like smaller dinners, elevated sleeping positions, or digestive enzymes. The most important shift is mental. Stop thinking of that little pill as harmless. Ask what it's taking from you, not just what it's preventing. As we age, our ability to recover from nutrient loss slows down. Don't let a pill you started at 60 quietly rob you at 75. There's something about pain that makes us reach for relief without hesitation. When your knees ache, when your back stiffens, when arthritis starts whispering in your joints, it feels like common sense to grab an ibuprofen or naproxen and move on with your day. For years, I thought nothing of it. 2 pills in the morning, 2 at night. The pain eased, I could function, problem solved, or so I believed. But NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, don't just block pain. Over time, they can slowly damage your liver, kidneys, and stomach lining, especially in older adults. And because they work silently, the signs of damage come too late. Many seniors develop chronic fatigue, nausea, or swelling without realizing these are early warnings. The problem is we often chalk those signs up to aging, a dangerous assumption. According to the Mayo Clinic and other leading health organizations, long-term NSAID use is a significant risk factor for gastrointestinal bleeding ulcers, kidney impairment, and liver toxicity. And yet these drugs are still widely used by people in their 70s and 80s, sometimes every day, simply because they're available over the counter and marketed as safe. But safe doesn't mean harmless, especially as we age. The real danger with NSAIDs isn't just the organ damage. It's the way they numb us into ignoring what our body is trying to say. When pain is masked, we don't adjust how we move. We don't rest. We don't explore better, safer alternatives. We just push through. Until the pushing costs us something far greater. Reducing reliance on NSAIDs doesn't mean living in pain. There are real evidence-based alternatives that work. Gentle movement routines like Tai Chi or aquatic therapy. Natural anti-inflammatories like turmeric with black pepper. Omega-3 supplements. Acupuncture. Physical therapy. Talk with your doctor about tapering off daily NSAID use. Ask about liver and kidney monitoring. Explore other ways to treat chronic pain that don't involve silencing your body's signals. Pain is a messenger, not just a nuisance. And after 70, it's not just about comfort anymore. It's about protecting what still works and making sure your treatment isn't the thing quietly stealing it away. Lowering cholesterol sounds like the right thing to do. That's what we've all been told. A statin a day to keep the heart attack away. But as I looked more closely at my own medications and what they were doing to me, not just for me, I realized something most seniors never hear. Statins don't come without a cost. Yes, they lower cholesterol. But in many older adults, especially those over 70 with no history of heart disease, the actual benefit is far less than we're led to believe. Meanwhile, the trade-off, muscle pain, weakness, fatigue, even cognitive fog, can chip away at the quality of life without warning. What startled me most was how common these side effects are and how often they go unrecognized. When your legs start feeling heavy or your back aches constantly, you assume it's aging. When your memory slips or you lose energy for activities you once loved, you blame retirement or stress. But in reality, statins are known to interfere with mitochondrial function, the part of your cells that produce energy. Over time, that damage shows up as muscle loss, reduced strength, and subtle memory issues that are easy to brush off, until they become impossible to ignore. Harvard Health and other medical sources have raised the question, should every older adult be on a statin? The answer is no. Statins are most helpful for those with a previous heart attack, stroke, or high cardiovascular risk. But many seniors take them simply because a lab result showed high cholesterol without considering whether that number truly warrants medication. If you're on a statin, talk to your doctor. Ask whether your heart risk justifies the medication. Discuss alternatives, diet changes, physical activity, stress reduction, and healthy fats like olive oil and fatty fish. The goal isn't to reject medication, it's to restore balance. Because what good is a healthier heart if the rest of your body is falling apart? After 70, our focus should shift from just extending life to protecting the life we still have. Not every pill does that. And we owe it to ourselves to find out which ones actually help us live well, not just live longer. Of all the medications I reviewed, the ones that scared me most were the ones that helped me sleep. Not because they were strong or addictive, but because they were subtle, silent. They didn't knock me out the way a painkiller might. Instead, they gently lulled me into a kind of numbness that felt like rest, but stole something far more valuable, my clarity. Many older adults turn to over-the-counter sleep aids like diphenhydramine, the main ingredient in Tylenol PM, or Benadryl, thinking it's harmless. Others take prescription tranquilizers like Valium, Ativan, or Xanax, especially if anxiety or sleeplessness has followed them into retirement. These drugs may offer short-term relief, but what they do to the aging brain and nervous system is anything but harmless. According to the CDC and studies from Harvard Medical School, long-term use of sedatives in people over 65 significantly increases the risk of falls, memory loss, confusion, and dependence. And unlike painkillers or statins, the harm isn't always physical, it's cognitive. You start forgetting words, misplacing things, waking up groggy and staying that way well into the afternoon. Slowly, your sharpness fades, and so does your independence. The danger is compounded because these medications feel like a solution. They help you sleep tonight, so you take them tomorrow, and the next night. But real rest, deep brain-healing sleep doesn't come from sedation. In fact, many of these pills disrupt REM sleep, which is essential for memory consolidation and emotional regulation. You may sleep longer, but your brain wakes up emptier. I learned that many seniors stay on these medications for years without ever being reevaluated. Not because they still need them, but because stopping feels scary. And yes, quitting suddenly is dangerous. These drugs must be tapered slowly under a doctor's care. But the first step isn't stopping, it's questioning. Are you truly resting, or just chemically shutting yourself off? Better sleep is possible without being sedated. Evening walks, no caffeine after 2 p.m., magnesium glycinate, herbal teas, turning off screens at least 1 hour before bed, practicing breathing techniques like the 4-7-8 method. These aren't flashy fixes, but they work, and they protect your mind in the long run. After a certain age, our mornings are too precious to wake up foggy. Every clear thought, every independent action matters. Don't trade your clarity for a few hours of artificial sleep. You deserve better, and it's absolutely possible. By now, I hope you see this video wasn't just about medications. It was about something deeper, awareness, ownership, and the quiet strength of asking better questions as we age. For so many of us, medication becomes a routine. We take what we're given, trust the process, and assume that silence means safety. But aging doesn't mean we stop evolving. In fact, this season of life demands more attention, more curiosity, and more courage than ever before. The lesson I've learned, and I hope you take with you, is this: your health isn't just about what you add, but also what you remove. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not to take more pills, but to pause and ask, do I still need this? That one question can protect your clarity, your independence, even your dignity. This isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Because true health after 70 isn't just the absence of disease. It's waking up each day feeling clear-headed, steady on your feet, and confident in your body. That kind of strength doesn't come from a prescription. It comes from presence, from paying attention. So here's one practical way to begin. Take 30 minutes this week to review your medications. Make a list. Look at each one. Ask yourself why you're still taking it. Then bring those questions to your doctor, not to confront, but to collaborate. Your doctor's job is to help you thrive, not just survive. But that can only happen if you're part of the conversation. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one medication you've always wondered about, but never questioned? Please share in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. If this video gave you something to think about, a new perspective, a sense of hope, or just the reminder that you're not powerless, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe. It keeps this channel going, and it helps more people find messages that matter. And if you feel moved to support this work with a small donation, thank you. Every bit helps us create honest, useful content for people just like you. Whatever you decide, I'm grateful you spent this time with me. Take care of yourself. You deserve a life that's not just longer, but lighter, clearer, and more your own.